I hope you have a public comment because I really feel like we're talking to the
Space.
Already you're slacking. You're like 7 seconds late.
Hello,
Hello.
Patricia here.
Hi. Okay,
Hi.
we're doing Pledge of Allegiance now. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay.
Oh, there's another public person out there.
All right, Doug just got here. Okay, well, we are now called to order for the Pelican Preserve Advisory Committee on Thursday, September 11th, 2025. Roll call, Marty is here, Tom is here, Alan is here, Peggy is actually back in town, yay. Ed is here, Patricia's online.
You have to call for a vote to allow her
Oh,
to participate.
I'd like to,
fully participate remotely due to extenuating circumstances.
Yes, I would like to call a vote to allow Patricia to, I have to say it though, to participate.
You can say what I said.
Oh, what she said. Do I have a second?
40 seconds.
Marty seconds. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right. Patricia's in. Is John online at all?
Nope, just
Okay.
Patricia.
I told him I didn't think we were going to need him. He's in Nevada, New Mexico, someplace. I don't know.
Utah. Yeah, I was thinking the
Yeah,
same thing,
I
but
don't
I
think he
wasn't
was
going to say
Utah.
it.
Yeah.
I wasn't going to say it.
Okay. So we have a plethora of minutes to get through. Do we want to try to do the Carroll method of,
I'll make a motion to approve items 5 Alpha, Bravo, Charlie, and Delta.
And I'll second that motion.
all right, is there any discussion or edits people would like to see 2 minutes? Hearing none, I'll call the vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? How efficient.
I do want to call you skipped public comment. Nobody signed up, but I just
Okay.
figured, just let you know, there's no one signed up to give public comment.
Thank you for
So we
that.
can be official.
Yes, we are official. All right, let's get into the financial report from the district.
Was that a?
We are in our lull period, I've been calling it, trying to.
Maybe for you.
Well, trying to not send in any POs.
You're not allowed
and-
to send in any POs
Yeah.
right now, unless it's an emergency or if it's something that absolutely can be done in the next week. So yes.
Exactly.
I am definitely not in my lull period
Laura
right
is-
now,
to
but.
correct my
yes.
statement, Laura's not in a lull.
No. This is my busiest time of the year with the budget stuff because I have a lot to get done in the next, in the next.
Okay, okay.
Now, Laura, our 2026 budget that we recommended, was that approved by the Board of Supervisors?
Yes,
Thank you.
they made no changes.
Okay.
Okay, so this is through July. We don't have August, I'm assuming?
It came this morning at about 11 o'clock. I have everything done on it with the exception of the encumbrances, so that's why I didn't, if you want to see it without the encumbrances, I can slide it over and share it, but it's not done.
I was gonna say, anything markedly different from here other than the percentage probably has gone down?
I mean, anything that you would, there's like normal increases, month to month. There was nothing that was like, oh my gosh, where did that come from?
I have a question on budget.
Absolutely. What is it?
So yesterday at the Ponds Subcommittee, an item came up about painting the bridges in Pelican Preserve, which is not budgeted for in 2025 or 2026. So
It
do
was
we
a
have money to
request.
do that?
It was a request from the Ponds Group to have PPAC decide and recommend to the Board of Supervisors who has ultimate responsibility for painting. Is it infrastructure, and does infrastructure go under safety and security? Is it because it's over a waterway, it belongs to ponds? Landscaping, aesthetically, I mean, you could make an argument, but it's as weak as any of the other ones, so.
So it really wasn't a recommendation to paint. It was,
We will need a recommendation, but we need to find a home for it,
Okay.
But our
essentially.
issue is
Well-
we're not budgeted
no.
Well,
for this. at
but we'll
all.
get to that because a budget could be incorporated or allocated offline, with unassigned.
Or it could fall under other, because I think everybody has an other
Other.
on theirs, because
Yeah,
it's a perfect thing, like something that comes up that you didn't plan for. There's like little things that don't warrant their own line, then we just put them under other,
Yeah.
so.
So the main thing,
This was also presented at the Safety and Security. They,
We could keep it.
right. Yeah,
you mean without putting it to one, wouldn't we want to put it to one of our subcommittees for their recommendation?
Or you could keep it yourself, and if there are parts of it that you want to send to one thing.
EPAC doesn't have a budget though, so that would get.
I'd like to finish the thought.
Tell us, Ed, what's your thought?
And at the Safety and Security, because they are bridges and part of the roads, which is all under safety and security as part of that infrastructure. But some of the questions were, well, why can't the staff painted all the monuments and everything else? Why can't they just paint the bridge? There was some discussion because it's over a waterway and some of the others, there's complications that the staff couldn't do it, but there was no information as to what it may cost or anything. So it was basically from safety and security, we need more information. And then it showed up on the ponds list.
We were told that.
Doug, can you come up here, please?
Oh,
Thank
yeah,
you.
hang on. I was charging it.
I can talk about it.
No, you have the people on the.
We were told in the ponds group, I don't know if, I think it was Paul, it basically said that safety and security punted it over to ponds and said it was ponds response. You were there and so were you. I think that's what was said. And that's how it ended up. I didn't put it on there.
But I don't know that safety and security actually punted it to ponds. It was more of, we don't have enough information, we don't, what's it going to cost? Do we even have a quote or anything? And what would be
I'm going to
involved?
weigh in
So-
here and say that this is not a small task. This needs a professional project manager. And I believe staff has a professional project manager.
Not anymore, he quit in April.
Four bridges, right?
Well, you have it in your org chart anyway.
Well,
Yeah, he
technically,
quit in April. We
have
haven't hired
3,
anybody yet.
plus the 4 that go around the preserve.
Oh, I'm talking the 1-4 in the preserve.
No.
These are
This
the
is
two-
roadway
these are-
bridges.
These are roadway bridges.
So you have one goes over to Pistoia, you have one over to Casella, and then you have Pelican Preserve Boulevard. Those are the 3 roadway bridges.
Okay.
They're actually like culverts, kind of.
Yeah, the only one I
That
think,
goes into Trieste Estates or Trentino Estates is not considered a bridge.
It's just a monument.
well, the only one,
So-
I have to envision, but the only one that's significant in size is the one that goes over to Tiberio.
Yeah.
The other ones are much smaller, hardly even bridges on the one going to Pastoia. Right?
That's
It's
a bridge, it's a shorter span.
But it
So
doesn't
the
have what-
FDOT requires inspections of all 3 of those,
Right.
depending on the span, whether it's every 3 years or 5 years. Okay, the longer spans need 3-year inspection periods. The shorter spans need less than 35 feet, require every 3 years.
Okay. I want to, you changed the word on me. You just talked about inspections, and I thought we were talking about painting.
Well, that's,
Repairs and inspections and.
well, that's the last time we had them inspected. When I first came on this committee, I asked about when was the last time we inspected the bridges, and the response was, what bridges? So, we have a report that was provided to the Gateway with regard to their inspections. Now, if I remember correctly, there's a 1/2-inch crack in the bridge that goes over Pelican Preserve Boulevard.
Pelican Preserve Boulevard has the most, I would call it painting, because it's up and visible and it's got the old colors. It hasn't been painted to match the new colors. But then you've got the area below the street level down to the flowway. And then the other one is a culvert and it's basically just concrete. But to me, there's a real issue of those lower levels. Should they actually be painted or should they just be power washed? And because once you start painting the concrete, it's going to be a maintenance nightmare forever. And then there's issues that you can't use any type of chemicals because of the flowway. And so I think there's really
Can I
a
ask-
more of what actually needs to be, decision of what needs to be done rather than just getting somebody to paint it.
Before we go, Laura, what does Gateway do for theirs?
Don't.
So you don't do anything with your,
Do you have any
Bridges?
bridges in Gateway?
Not that I'm aware of.
well,
Not bridges, so no, we
Okay.
haven't done anything.
so there is no expertise.
Well,
to
the
tie
thing
with-
is that Gateway and Griffin actually belong to the county.
But the roads in Gateway would be either county or
Right,
private.
they belong to county.
So they wouldn't be Gateway
Correct.
bridges.
The
But
only
nobody has
roads we own
expertise.
we own this one out here, which doesn't have one, and we own a little bit of Girl Scout, which doesn't have one, so we don't have any.
That clarifies that. Doug, come up to the.
Alexander from the Ponds Group. This started really 2 years ago. Some resident came to the Ponds Group because of the mold that you're talking about, the lower part, not the painted part, the lower part. They came to the Ponds Group and it was on the flowway. And at that point, the flowway was supported by '01 fund because it was part of Gateway. Now it's shared. But at that point, the person that took ownership of that was Daniel. Took it because it wasn't part of the ponds. It was on the flowway. Daniel did, but nothing's really been done in 2 years. And that's when it started, 2 years ago. And she was the one. Carol was the one that brought the resident to the Ponds Group to bring the request. So it's been going on for a long time and no one knows how to address it, for lack of a better
Oh,
term.
hello, didn't Daniel coordinate the inspections with the contractor also?
Was the inspector, not a contractor. I mean,
Well,
not,
he hired the contractor to do the inspections.
Yeah,
yeah.
So that's a staff job.
Well, and I have a question now that's joint ownership. Who makes, what relative to expenses associated with joint ownership?
That's a very good question.
it's technically, what are you talking about, joint ownership?
The roads, you guys are paying for the roads over in Pelican now?
We own the roads in Pelican.
All right, but you're paying for them, '01 is contributing to
A little
them?
bit, mostly you,
Well, it's mostly us,
So-
but there was a portion of it in the budget.
correct.
So do we still have total authority on,
To the best of my knowledge, yes, you are footing the majority of the bill. I mean, ultimately, it's the board's decision, but because they're in Pelican, I don't foresee that
when an
changing. We haven't
account-
had discussions that said anything different.
You might be conflating a couple things, but they are, the road and road maintenance over there are in the O2 budget,
Correct,
which is what we have jurisdiction over.
right.
Now, how the O2 budget is funded is a different, that's where,
Well, I think we need a project manager from staff to assist on this.
well, and
Maybe we need to get our requirements first before we
You know,
engage that.
you talked about painting them the same colors of the monuments. Have we reached out? Well, Ed did. Have we reached out to the community to see if that's what they wanted?
oh, Lord, don't get into asking about paint color.
we didn't ask them about their individual
matches-
monuments.
It matches the rest of it. Don't get into that.
To me, the question is the below the street level to the flowway, should that be painted or should it just be cleaned or sandblasted or whatever to the natural concrete and leave it that way?
And if we're going to.
Maybe we need, I hate to say it, some expert recommendations on how those should be done.
I
Otherwise,
can chime in there. Actually, we've been going around and around about this for about the last week now. We've actually reached out to South Florida because those are over water and we have to be in water to clean them, and the potential for stuff to fall from there into the flowway. Basically, we were told we can't clean them. There's a lot of stuff we're going to have to put into place in order to safely clean that. It's not like you can just go, like when you do the street and you have cleanish water that goes down the storm drain. We're putting all the chunks and the paint and everything falling right into the flowway.
Yeah.
And they were like, no.
Even more reason to hire a project manager.
Yeah.
Or have
So
a
basically,
project
right now, we
manager.
do not have permission to pressure wash those bridges.
Well, do you hire a project manager or do you hire a company that has all these capabilities?
I don't know, we had a project manager on staff, but
We did, yes, he left at the end of April.
So you have no capacity, is that what I'm hearing?
No,
Okay.
no, that's not it. I think, right now, there's not even here, I'm very confused. There's no real clear direction for what you're looking for. So we are definitely happy to assist, but I need to know what you would like us to help with.
scope of the project.
Can I make a
Of what project?
suggestion?
It's painting the bridges.
No.
Because you're talking
Inspecting.
painting, you're talking cleaning, so I'm not sure exactly what you're asking us to do.
So the issue was about painting the bridges.
Okay,
And we had the bridges inspected previously.
correct.
When is the next inspection due?
To go look, I know it's documented, but I don't know.
But
Oh, go ahead.
the one that is missing the uniform colors of the monuments is the area, the one on Pelican Boulevard where you've got,
Into Tiberio.
yeah, in Tiberio, over Pelican, where you've got the
That's-
monuments and stuff above ground, that, to me, at least the three sides could be painted staff, just like the monuments,
Right.
because they're not over, whether or not you could do the outside is maybe questionable, but the stuff, but
So the question, I guess, on that simple job, trying to say simple job is, staff, can we get a price on what it would cost to have the staff paint that bridge?
Going on Tiberio?
The one headed into Tiberio?
Okay.
The above water.
Yeah, we have to use different kinds of paint and everything because it is over water and all that too. So it's not as simple as the other monuments where we can just go in and slap some paint on it. So, yeah,
I'm
I can
just-
definitely have someone check into it and let
That's all,
you.
I'm trying to wrap it up, is this staff, can we get a
Yep.
price on that?
I'll find out what it'll take to do it and how much it'll cost.
Okay. Marty, I'd like to appoint you as the point person for this project, and you work with the subcommittee chairs as necessary to get us to a spot where we either have a project scope or we have an actionable request that we can task out.
I mean, I think if we're talking the Tiberio Bridge, that would actually fall, to me, clearly under the either landscaping, like they're painting the rest of the monuments, or safety and security, because it's the bridge, but,
I think we ought to turn it into a drawbridge while we're at it.
yeah. Maybe we need a bridge committee,
Yeah.
subcommittee.
So on
I think it's playing bridge
next
right
month's agenda, we'll have a item on the agenda to talk about the next inspection period for the bridges too.
Get on here.
But if you could take that on as
That's no
your
problem.
accountability, we'll get an answer of sorts moving forward.
I'm not even too sure what the scope is.
Well, that's where I'll leave it to you to see what are our needs, what is in the best interest of our community and for the long-term support of the bridges. Okay.
I'll teach you for being the bridge guy.
Yeah, well,
Don't go to a ponds committee meeting.
exactly. That's what we've learned. All right, so that was a great
I'm a
segue. I'm
mechanical
glad
engineer,
we
not a
did need
structural engineer.
to get into that. So we've got a couple of requests from staff and now Marty will take point on it.
I'll work with Doug.
Thank you. And Jen. Jennifer.
Back to where we were on finance. Did we?
Yeah, we started from
Right.
finance, so
Well,
let's go
we
back
never
to
really
this.
wrapped that up. So to Laura, you don't see anything that's going to take us over budget anywhere, do you?
Not in total, no. Definitely not. Not unless something happens in the next 19 days, so.
Right.
As long as the next 19 days you should be fine.
Okay, good.
Do we need to move to accept the financial report or no?
No, we don't need to do
No.
anything with that.
It's just informational.
Yep. All right, let's move on to the next. Have reports from our subcommittees. And I've talked to Mark a couple times here in the last month, and he just says they don't have any big initiatives starting right now. They're just kind of in pending mode. So,
I did get a call from somebody who must be a seasonal resident, came back and just had sung the praises of the people who worked on those Tiberio monuments. She was like, it looks amazing. She was very happy. So,
good.
and I did let Mark know.
Oh, good. Yeah.
Both Marks, our Mark and that Mark.
Yeah, and he's also working on getting a tree replaced that was hit by somebody, so.
It's was also out on, I noticed it too, but then it was, somebody asked a question out on Facebook about the monuments at the four-way, or not the monuments, but the palm trees at the four-way stop, that looks like there's 3 or 4 of them that are dead now. And what's happening? Those are
Is that
responsibility.
theirs?
Yeah.
I've
The
yet, I
the
read it too, but
Washingtonian,
I've yet to look at
the
them.
Washingtonian ponds, they're really.
Yep, the ones that were hit
The
by
ones that get hit
lightning.
by lightning all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Can't
Mark,
even tell you how many times those have been replaced in the 5 years I've been here, so yeah.
yep, so he's looking at what else it could be replaced with, so.
Is there a see-click-fix ticket on it?
I'm sure he has put one in, because he said it's in action.
Well, it wouldn't go from Mark to that. Those get
It would
handled different.
get pushed
yeah.
back to him anyway. Yeah. Okay, so nothing really from this one?
Nothing else from landscape, no.
Basically, you want to take the,
I've been dealing a lot with sidewalk drainage issues, and over in Prado, they've done a few of the plumes or whatever to try to get as a test, but they're kind of working on that. But it's kind of become a real question. A lot of the residents have started, have been complaining about how dirty the sidewalks are. And I thought they had completed a round of them 3 or 4 months ago, but I see the machines out there the last couple of days. But we've got I think we've got a real, in my opinion, the problem is the grass and the sod as either side of the sidewalks is higher than the sidewalk. And even when they go through with a swirly, all it's doing is creating dirty water that then sits there and can't really drain off because of the sod and things. So I'm not sure that our machine is going to do a good enough job to really clean those sidewalks.
so,
Unless you can vacuum up the water
Also time
behind
of
it,
year.
but I don't know what, it's
mistaken,
gonna be a big issue, I
At
think.
that last meeting, we killed all the actions to clean the sidewalks because we said, we're all done. We'll wait for another see-click-fix ticket.
I can chime in a little bit on this because we've been getting inundated. My recollection, and Chelsea's was as well, is that the direction from you guys was to not do any cleaning unless it was a safety issue. That we were not doing any aesthetic cleaning, only safety issues. Our Mark, went out yesterday to look at one of those spots where we had installed one of those drains to kind of help with stuff. Between the over irrigating and the inundation of rain that we've had, everything is just washing out. So unless you guys stop watering so much, that's not going to help with all the rain. So that is contributing to it. There's standing water in these people's yards. And so until everything dries up, it's just going to keep happening.
So at the Board of Directors meeting, a resident got up there and said that it's a dangerous situation on the sidewalk going over to Casella. Now, that was the first we've heard about it, and nothing was discussed at the safety and security meeting with regard to that sidewalk. So he was advised to put in a see-click-fix ticket. I don't know if he ever did.
I think he did, yeah. I verified with Chelsea that whatever we recommend is likely to not have any opposition from the Board of Supervisors. If we choose to say we will do a once-a-year aesthetic cleaning, either with using a professional services at a cost, or we can do something with replacing the swirly head that is not sized appropriately or doesn't have the capability to do what we need it to do. I mean, we have that within our control. And we are hearing such an outcry at this point. I believe it's something we should take into consideration.
Oh, I said it quickly, but right now, the issue is the rain. And you could go clean those sidewalks today and they'll be filthy tomorrow. Until the rain is gone and wet season is gone, you're going to have dirty sidewalks. So if you want to do it once, twice a year, My suggestion would be at the end of the rainy season and the beginning of the rainy season.
Absolutely true, yeah.
I think you used to do like November and May, which would pretty much cover that, because normally by November, everything's dried out a little bit, and May is before it really starts to rain again, so.
And these New Yorkers just have to understand that this is Florida and it rains and it's mud.
Carol, Doug, do you ever remember what the routine was prior to us buying the swirly when we had a contractor doing it? Does anybody remember? I know we had a contractor to do some of that, but I don't remember this.
It was once a year, and it was outside of the rainy season. And it was just for the main roads. It was not into the neighborhoods.
Neighborhoods are responsible for their own.
Their own aesthetic cleaning.
Do we know the cost of these cleanings?
I remember it being $60,000 annually for the cleaning that they did, but I don't have a current thought, and I don't have any idea on what equipment might be needed if we wanted to keep it in-house.
That's been some time back, so.
Yeah.
I mean,
Well, the sidewalk going over to Casella goes over the bridge. That's a gateway sidewalk, not a neighborhood sidewalk.
So we just have to make sure we give the parameters that include that.
to me, the swirly may be able to, that we currently have as outfitted, may be able to spot treat things if they come up where there's something real bad or whatever. But from what I've seen, and I mean, they did our neighborhood when they first started this thing, and it wasn't as wide as a sidewalk, but then it just swirled up the water, and then you
It
had
needs a
dirty
vacuum
water.
behind
that
it.
Yeah, it needs a vacuum
So
behind
what's
it
our-
to do.
What's
to
our
really clean
direction
them.
to staff with regard to the swirly and cleaning the sidewalks?
Well, they're still to do the spot cleaning for safety, but I would like to have them start looking into what it would take to have a piece of equipment that would actually be the width of the sidewalk with the suctioning. And or conversely, what it would cost if we were to do this annually,
Annually and or biannually.
annually or biannually.
Because going into the rainy season, cleaning it would mitigate some of it.
And
Yeah,
when,
that's true.
and when the residents are complaining about it, it's not just the sidewalks. It's
It's the
the
valley
gutter,
gutters.
the valley gutters too.
All right.
It seems like we would want to know whether or not the purchase of equipment would be less expensive than to have an annual contractor do it. You
And
know,
that's why
so
I'm asking
we
for
need to
both.
get those sorts of quotes going on both those.
Yeah. If,
We haven't had such good luck with purchasing equipment.
no, we haven't, but,
And the swirly is broken again, just so you know.
yeah, and the swirly has been so problematic.
It broke today.
They curse the name Swirly.
No, they cursed the name Bob Geppert, because that was him.
He was recommended by the guy who was your utilities director.
Bob is the one who pushed it through and didn't give us a chance to go and do any research on it. He
Ah,
says, we're
okay.
getting this swirly, so.
Okay,
yeah.
fine. Yeah. Regardless, we're looking forward. We want to see what will work best for our community.
I'll
So-
go back and see, because I don't know if we were paying the bills when the sidewalks were getting cleaner, if that was something I was reimbursing through Castle or KW, but I'll see what I can find as far as
Okay.
what you guys were paying before.
That sounds.
Laura?
Just
Could
a
you make,
second. Right, I just want to miss my note, otherwise I'd be like, what did I write?
can you make that an agenda item for next month?
Yep, if we have the numbers back, yes. I will do my best to have it on there.
Okay.
I will put it on the agenda,
When we
but
ha-
if we don't
when-
have what we need,
When we
it won't
have
be on
enough
there.
information.
Yeah, I will. That's why
And one
that's why I was
quick-
taking a note.
Same issue. Clarify for me, because I got two different answers, one from Bob and one from Yanni. There is a apparent irrigation leak, and I don't really think it is, but this person thinks it's an irrigation leak at the corner of Carina and Cypress Grove. Who's responsible for that? It's just go with irrigation.
Which Carina entrance?
It's the Julia Road,
Oh,
right next to where Raybowls are. The people in that house aren't there. So I don't really need to, but I don't think it's an irrigation. I don't see water spouting, but there is definitely water pooling. Now that, to me, that still could be the significant amount of rain that we've had, and it's pooling and coming off. But if it was an irrigation head that's leaking underground, and it is not in the HOA, or it's in the, who's responsible for that, Pelican or Gateway? Because this guy is getting told,
Depends.
It depends on where the leak is. I mean, the main line through there, that's Pelican is or Community Association, they have the main line. But then there are the taps off of it that go into Carina, that, from that, and the controllers, that is Carina. But then there are also, if it's in the road right-of-way, median type buffer
no,
areas.
this is on the corner of a homeowner. There's enough, when you come to the corners, there's often, I don't know whether it's 15 feet, but they don't come, their property does not go all the way to Cypress Grove.
Right, there's a buffer parcel
Right.
in there that
There's a landscape easement.
CDD has the we have the landscape responsibility for that buffer parcel.
So if it is in the buffer parcel, it would be PPCA landscape committee that he should be dealing with.
No,
No,
PPCA.
PPAC.
AC.
I mean PPAC, landscape committee.
But each one of those areas, how it was actually constructed, whether or not it's the Carina water system or the
Depends if it's
the
upstream or
AC
downstream of the
sprinkler
pedestal.
system
right.
is, it kind of depends on which controller is controlling that
All right,
water.
just a question.
But I had a leak in my backyard where water was pooling by the valve box, and Ameriscape came out and no leak. It must be your pool or whatever. We checked the pools, put it down, and it was a cracked pipe at the valve box where it was just leaking, but it was just pooling water from a crack in the pipe. So,
All right, so we're veering around our
That's an
agenda
area
quite a
where-
bit here, guys, so let's
Try to keep it.
let's try to keep it.
jurisdiction is not clear.
Yeah.
They are going to be replacing the camera system at the front gate so that we have a full 30 days of footage. That's going on. The other thing that's coming up is they're getting quotes for replacing the gates because they are at end of life and we can't get parts for them. So all the gate, and we've been having maintenance problems with the gates and stuff. So that's going to be on the next
Gates or
agenda.
where, I guess?
The gatehouse, the
Entrance
guardhouse.
gate, the gate
Oh, the
arms.
gate
the
house.
arms.
Yeah, they
Got
don't
it.
make them
Gatehouse.
anymore, and the possibility of getting parts is slim to none, so.
That'll be on the next month or this month's safety and security agenda, I believe.
And they will be there Wednesday to install the cameras as of this morning, that's what I was told, so.
So it's the arms, not just the arms, it's the mechanisms too.
The whole
you're talking about.
mechanism, yeah. They're obsolete and manufacturer won't provide parts for them and stuff anymore, so.
I'd say we got a good lifespan out of them then, if they're even to that point, so. Okay, anything else? We've got a subcommittee member appointment.
Yeah.
That
Move to approve.
Zimmerman,
All I can say is Lynn's very excited to be a participant, so thank you for putting his name forward.
so I take it there's a relationship?
She has to
Yeah, pretty
abstain.
close.
She might know him.
You might know him. Yeah, so we have a motion to accept
Who
Lynn.
made the
Marty
motion?
seconds?
Marty seconds.
Who made
The motion was by Tom, just
Okay.
to be clear. Marty seconds. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Unanimous acclamation to welcome Mr. Zimmerman.
Okay.
We'll assign him to Patricia to keep him in line.
Yes, Patricia, you are now in charge with him.
I have another security issue, but I can wait until that's our turn at the end of the
Okay,
thing.
thank you. All right, now we have a ponds update. Doug, do we have?
Doug's entered the ponds group, going back to what Tom was, with the leak in the irrigation. I had a lot of those issues in the past when we were doing the drainage between the homes, where there'd be a leak and you had the HOA, you had the Marks group, and then you had the contractor, and everyone was pointing fingers every way. So what I did is just took out my budget and said, we're gonna bring someone in, we'll fix it. Once we find out where the leak is, we'll charge the group that's responsible for it. Ended up being in the HOA. the bill went back, but otherwise, there's no way to fix, there's no way to know where the leak is unless you dig it up, and no one will dig it up unless there's money. So someone has to step to the plate and say, we'll do the problem resolution, but you'll get charged wherever the leak is, you'll get charged for it. That's the only way I was ever to get it done. All right? 2 cents worth.
Yeah, a couple neighborhoods, I'd say good luck. But
Let's see, the budget. Just so you don't keep looking and seeing that I was $149,000 short last year, that everyone here voted to do the 2 ponds except for one person, won't mention his name over there. But that, we, up to 200,000 is what we had proved. We didn't go all to that level, but that's why that's there. I always have to protect myself. The only other thing is, I think you guys are going to vote later. Maybe I do the rest of it later because it's the vote on Tetra Tech and that's later, correct?
Yep.
And is there anything on there on the thing
it's
for
next.
GIS?
You can stay there because your Tetra Tech is next.
Is what?
The Tetra Tech item is next. It's the next.
Okay,
thing
and
on the
is there
agenda.
anything there on the GIS or is that done differently?
No, you guys just talked about that, so that'll come next month.
Okay, because we approved it, yes.
before you leave your committee and go to the next one, what did the committee do on your question about the alligator?
We didn't call and have Ally removed, that's.
So that's the main
Oh,
thing. I want to
okay, but we pointed back to, there was just a thing that, a notification or a communication that was done by Alligator Safety. We pointed back to that.
Is there a process? Because that particular one, I'm not convinced the incident happened.
No, there is a process.
All right.
Okay, they come to the ponds group because the gator's floating in the pond, the gator's alive in the pond. I've had one, in the umpteen years I've been here, I've had one gator removed. And the state has it's got to be greater than 5 foot, first of all, and it has to be a nuisance. It's got to be, well, this lady had a little dog on her back porch and the gator every day would come up and look at the gator through the screen and she was scared to death. And it wasn't just once, it was every day.
Mm-hmm.
So I called the state and the state group came in and removed it. It doesn't cost you anything.
Right. No, I
But,
just don't like the gators being removed.
right. This gator's been here for what, how many years?
I don't know.
18 years?
All I know is, God help you if you remove that one.
Well, that would be.
Sally
I would just tell
Sally
him-
Wakeland will be the
I
head
would
of the
just tell them
committee
Tom
that-
Shaner approved it.
No, sir. I want those gators. There's certain residents that are
You would
eligible
throw
for
them in the, all right.
trying to.
So
tack-
Ally is
tactfully
safe for
say that.
now.
Always safe for now.
Yeah.
I think I'd have been shot if
I'm not even convinced
they'd have
that's
removed
Ally.
me versus the gator.
Current version of Ally.
All right. The only other thing is we've already, I'll summarize, we have already approved pond 43 as the next pond to restore. We've already approved the 600K, the borrowing the money from the back. This is the start of that. The Tetra Tech thing is to do the engineering work, to start the process, to do the bid and stuff like that, because it's a formal bid. And this was less than $19,000 for not to exceed, to do all that engineering work for Pond 43. It's the start of the process. So we recommend, the Ponds Group recommends that we get started with Tetra Tech so we can get this done in the dry season.
So
Okay.
we'll call for a motion to approve the request authorization for Tetra Tech for the,
I'll make a motion to approve the
Unfortunate.
task authorization for Tetra Tech.
I'll
This
second
morning.
anything. I'll second
Okay.
anything Doug says.
Let's just
Marty,
skip into the next one.
and then Tom seconded.
What's the next one?
Sorry, we got ahead of you there a little bit.
That's off on the gator.
You're talking about this now?
Yep,
Aye.
it's a authorization not to exceed 19 million.
That's 18, whatever.
Well,
You just well say 19.
19, yeah, 18,000.
To get them so cheap.
They've already done some of the work. And the specs are the same specs as the 2 ponds we just did. So there isn't as much spec work and stuff like that to do. That's why.
And they're only doing limited construction observation, which is usually where they nail us.
The only thing about this is we got to figure out how to write the specs. So, because in the last one we did, since it was a maintenance, it was a formal bid, but it was a maintenance. Remember, we had the criteria, we had a committee that voted, each of them independently voted, and the high score got, that was the recommendation. Since it's a construction project, there is no committee and there is no voting at those type things. So we have to be careful that we don't end up what we did on 36 with
With the low
CMB
bidder.
Civil and just end up taking the low bid. We got to be very crisp with our specs so we aren't there again. And the Ponds Committee and Stephanie, we're all on top of making sure the specs are such that there's, we don't have what we had. And you guys had the same issue, I believe, at Gateway.
Isn't there a review process like that?
But it's not like you can say the references and you get so many points and there's a committee and each independent member votes and gives a number of points and then they're all added up. That's the way the maintenance,
That's different, yeah.
it's
The
different when
maintenance
it's a
goes when you do-
construction.
Right, if you do it, the other one's a formal bid, so it's just based on, they still have to give references, they're still ranking, but it's
Right.
not this.
But it's not a point system.
No,
Not like, the other was a formal bid too, but it was considered maintenance of the ponds. When we did the pond maintenance, that was a formal bid.
construction is based on total.
Right.
What was the-
Construction is based on total.
And the low bid will get it.
No, the lowest, most responsible bidder will
But-
get it. That's
but-
where we are lucky. If we were the county, the low bid gets it.
Yeah,
But
but
because we're a CDD, we get a little wiggle room. Like it could be, it might end up being the highest or the middle or the second from the bottom. It's whichever one is most beneficial to the district. And it's the lowest price, most responsible bidder.
But responsible is, to me, vague. I liked it when it was 200 points and 199 and whatever. The responsible wasn't in there. Or that's what I mean. You got to be crisp with that.
You're on top of it, you and Jim and
That's our
Stephanie.
number one concern.
Okay,
All right?
good. All right, so we have a motion on the table. Do we have any more discussion? All in favor? Aye.
And Patricia, you can vote,
Yeah.
we got you
Oh,
fully in.
I'm voting unanimously with everybody.
All righty. So we all have approved this.
Right.
All right, now we're moving on to items for discussion, as if we hadn't had items for discussion prior. We've got the Tetra Tech authorization for road resurfacing, the tree line to Veneto. It's going to be almost $56,000.
Yeah, I personally have real problems with this one because it's really not much more than a mill and grind. There's only one about 5-foot section of curb that's sunk that needs to be replaced. And I guess at the safety and security, we tried to impress upon Paul to try to get this, since it's not to exceed, but to do the minimal amount of work, because to add, 55,000 or whatever it is to a $300,000 mill and grind project is quite a bit. Seems to be quite a bit, so.
I make a motion to approve item 8 alpha.
Got a motion by Marty. Do we have a second?
I'll second it.
Okay, we've got a second by Ed. And so, Ed, can you tell me a little bit more about why you're chary about this one? What is it about this that you just don't think it's necessary, or?
Well, the other projects that we've done, the other road resurfacing, we had no engineering, but they came in under the, whatever the threshold amount is that the Board of Supervisors said. Above that, we have to go out for, they need
An
Tetra
engineer.
Tech involvement.
Okay.
Right.
And it's just a matter of how much effort and time. I mean, they're talking about doing construction drawings for the whole stretch of it and everything else.
So you're
When
thinking
you
that
read
it's a
through
bit
this.
of a bloat?
Yeah, it seems like a lot of
So the-
overkill.
The Board of
for-
Supervisors set a threshold, a monetary amount, where you need a professional engineer to sign off on it.
Oh,
My question, Ed, is what other options do we have?
None.
Yeah.
Other than Paul trying to get them to do the minimal amount of work so that they come in significantly less than their not to exceed bid.
Well, let's work with Paul then to make sure that we can influence that as much as possible. Any other comments on this? All right.
No, I guess, Ed, so looking at the 55, 56, what do you think? I know you're reaching, but what do you think it ought to be? See, that's what do you have anything to base that on, or just you're concerned because of the process? And
Yeah, I mean, they're doing a lot of work that we haven't had to do on the other projects that are essentially the same, but just because they were a shorter segment of street.
We
And
didn't
cost
use
that-
them on
didn't meet that
Albiano, we
dollar
didn't use them on
threshold.
Breno,
Right.
we didn't use them on Ravenna
but we have to use them here because of the new board policy.
Because of the,
because of the monetary amount hit the threshold that the Board of
the
Supervisors.
other option would be to break it up into two projects, do it in 2 different years.
And we determined that that wasn't for the best of the community.
Right.
All right.
Another one is to go and ask, Laura can tell me, shut up, Tom, ask the board to waive its policy on this one, because we think it's too much.
We have done that before.
And they say no.
And they have not been open to that.
Yeah.
We can get 2 votes.
You know, like,
Well, I don't even know.
you know, like Hunger Games where they say, may the odds be ever in your favor? Yeah, that's what I would say.
They're not
to
in our
them.
favor.
Mr. Tinkle would pontificate for a long time on this, so.
So,
I guess you really have no choice.
so begrudgingly, let's call the vote. I'll vote A.
Aye.
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 Okay, so we're passing this one on. All right, this is an interesting one. The proposal for the broker of the monument properties. Now, was it November? We discussed this and we punted it, basically. We said we didn't have enough information. I don't know if we were the ones that actually request for a full proposal or if it came more from Carol at the Board of Supervisors.
This was Carol's baby.
Carol's baby, okay. So in the result of whatever communications happened, we have now got a proposal in front of us that talks about the 2 monuments at Tree Line and Colonial. And I don't know, Carol, do you know enough about this that you want to, you don't know? Okay, so this, essentially, they went out and they looked at our properties and came back with a staggering amount of money that they feel it's valued at, from my opinion. So I don't know, has everybody had a chance to read through this?
No, I haven't read it yet, no.
Okay, so we've got two parcels at Tree Line and Colonial, which are slightly over 1 acre total. It's where the monuments sit now that say Pelican Preserve. And according to this broker, they are saying that it is it's a viable properties to sell. And I don't know if they'd be sold individually or together, but they came back and they said they would list it for around $2 million.
I looked at the water retention on those
Well,
sites.
If you look at their valuation, there's a note there that is very significant. The valuation page, you might want to scroll down to that. But it says, as such, the indicated value assumes ideal site conditions, including functional access, which there isn't, and the ability to develop a suitable building pad. Any limitations that restrict or complicate the placement or improvements would materially affect the achievable value. There is.
So does anybody want an electronic billboard placed on the corner?
Well, that's what you're going to have for a while. At least you're going to have a CB
So
there.
Who asked these brokers to go out there and do this and bring back these?
We did.
We did.
Well, we did.
We
We
did.
asked to get a price on it. We said, what would it be? We didn't
Said
know.
we didn't have enough information and we were asking for a little bit more. I didn't think they were going to come back with a full scale, here's what we would market it as, but
I can't believe their price. I also look and I go, it's going to go down because there are 2 pieces of wetland, definitely with water retention in those corners. And I don't know how you would get access.
well, all that being aside,
Yeah.
let's talk a little bit higher level right now. I mean, as good fiduciary stewards, $2 million, even if it was $1 million, is it worth having the conversation? Because that money would go directly back to O2, correct?
I think so, because you guys have been paying for it. I have to check to see how it was paid.
Can you
We can-
validate that
Yep.
for us and come back to us with that? I mean, we can all say our opinions, but this is a chunk of change. And this could make a big difference to how we repair ponds, roads,
Right.
the monuments out in front. I mean, our next conversation is going to be, what are we going to do for the monuments?
You won't have to pay for maintenance of any of that up there anymore, so.
Yeah, so
Well-
it's not huge, it's like
And
25,000 a year. or
I
something.
think the question of where the money would go is critical, because that corridor, the tree line corridor, no, I was going to say that's moved to, the maintenance of the tree line corridor has moved over to the 01 budget.
Yeah, but it
But the
wouldn't-
area that these monuments and the area to the wall, from the sidewalk to the wall, stay in 02. So this would still
So we
being
need clarity
maintained
on
under
that.
that, but we need clarity on that.
I personally have an objection to changing the aesthetic appeal of the intersection.
But if we're farther back from the intersection, why do we care?
But it is part of the Pelican development.
I could live without the monuments.
I think it puts us in a really tough position, to be quite honest with you, because if the residents hear that somebody has said that's worth $2 million out there, and we're sitting and saying, no, we're not going to
Even
look at
consider
that,
it, yeah.
consider it.
So we're gonna have this big electronic billboard, just like they have on the other side of
Well,
Colonial from that
that's
intersection.
a
And
whole
that'll
other
be up
issue.
to whoever's
I'm
the new
just saying
owner.
that-
I think Chelsea reached out to, was it Lamar? They're the ones that do the big billboards. They have zero interest in putting anything there because of the zoning, so.
Oh, hey, that's a plus. So,
She did reach out to them, and that's what their response was, no.
Concerned.
I really do think it puts us in a tough position.
Yeah, I agree with that, because money sounds good, but ultimately, whatever's put there, I think you're going to get as many complaints about that as you will. And there's another issue going on right now that I'm the lone wolf in opposition, and that is changing the intersection from Winn-Dixie to Walgreens. Yeah, it's coming out of the Government Relations Committee. One guy is pushing it. They are going along. They're not listening and understanding that what's going to happen there. He had an accident. There's been 28 accidents in 5
A lot of
years.
accidents.
28 in 5 years. That's not a lot. And there's only been 3 that, to me, Marty, were significant, where there was really bodily harm. Never had a death. So the 2 options are to put a light there, which would cost millions, and the
we're at the intersection that goes into.
that crosses Winn-Dixie to Walgreens.
Got it, okay.
Now, maybe I'm a little bit ahead on talking. I was going to talk about that on my term. I'll wait.
Okay.
But it goes back to this whole issue that we're changing that area up there, and if we're not careful, it will have, in spite of the money, and this is where I think I agree with you, we're in a tough position. It's going to have a negative impact on the perception of the people in Pelican Preserve. It's going
And
to
why would that be?
well,
I mean, if you
Suddenly-
were Joe Blow coming in and you weren't aware that that was our original monuments.
I'm not worried about the monument.
I know,
It's
but
the
I'm
traffic.
just.
It's the
So
traffic.
if you have residents that are gonna go to Walgreens, so you pull into Walgreens,
I
you
was
do your
just, I was going to
business,
leave it on this. I'll come back to that one
Yeah.
later.
how do you get home?
I'll come back to that one later. I'll
But
explain.
what I'm just saying is
I agree
that
with you.
historically, yes, those have been our monuments. We've cared about what that intersection is like. But we're, what, 3/4 of a mile down the road from
So
it?
you go back
Well,
up, you
well-
go back from, you go from Walgreens, you leave, you go back to Tree Line, you can't take the left.
No, stay off of that one for now. We'll come back to that one.
Your
So,
golf cart.
no, well, that's one way to do it, but you can't go, I'll get on that and explain the whole thing. What happens, Laura, if we sign the contract with the broker then comes back with a potential buyer, and we look and say, no?
I don't know how the terms of the broker's contract are written. We may not be able, I mean, I don't know what our what
Right.
parameters we have in there for whether or not we accept the offer. I haven't seen it. I just know that it's like 5% commission.
Yeah, and I think
that's
we're
all
getting-
that I've seen of
Right,
it.
well, as Ed pointed out, I think we're getting carried away looking at that 2.5, because that's,
I don't think it
that's
can be
based on all these other assumptions. So I even look at that and go, did you people even look at the land?
Supposedly they walked it. Yeah.
I know on one side, there was some concern, that has something to do with being able to travel to it, like from where you go in off of Colonial. On the Winn-Dixie side, that parcel, they planned ahead when they did whatever they did, and there actually is access to that corner from, even though it's not there now, but the way that it's laid out in that giant parking lot, there is a easement or something to allow travel to that corner from inside the parking lot. On the other side of the street, we couldn't find that. That doesn't mean it's not there, but we couldn't find that on the other side, the Walgreens side. We couldn't find where there was an easement for travel to that corner packet, to
Yeah,
that
the
corner
Walgreens,
piece.
you'd have to get it, they'd have to get an easement from the Domino's drive-through to be
It
able
goes
to
all the way up
use
to
it.
that end and it stops, but the Winn-Dixie goes all the way around, so.
Do the merchants have any say in what goes in there?
I don't think so. It's commercial property, so.
Well, I think they do in that, they probably do like on the Winn-Dixie that you couldn't put another grocery store.
Right.
you know,
Sure.
type
Oh,
of
you're not
thing.
gonna,
But,
it's gonna be a small grocery store.
well, and you've got drainage in there too, so they'd have to, on the back end of both of those possibles.
It would have to go through the Architectural Control Committee also.
Yeah, I was gonna say, is this
No.
something we'd have to
No.
go back to the community on?
Why
No,
not?
it's owned by us.
Taco Bell
We
did.
would not have to get a vote
CDD
of the
owns it.
community.
The CDD owns it, not Pelican.
not
It's
even
our
Pelican.
property.
Well,
So-
I agree 100% with Alan. Not, if the word will get out that we would say no with potential 2.5, which is ridiculous because it's not 2.5 in the end, but it will get out. So I think you have to move forward. I just wish I knew the caveat to be able to say no in the end.
I mean, I don't know what her timeframe is to get back to the broker on this. If you want to table this to have some more information, I can take back a list of questions. I haven't seen the agreement. Chelsea's been dealing with them and she's on PTO, so I can't ask her.
Okay.
But if
just like to
if
know
you're
what-
not comfortable making a decision, my recommendation would be is just wait another month until you
So-
have what the questions answered that you want to make you comfortable to make a
Well, the
decision.
two questions I have, what's a real number based on the,
That's what they're considering real, so.
Okay.
If Pelican doesn't own this land and it's GSCDD land, why is it coming before us?
Because you guys are paying to maintain it.
we maintain it, yes.
It's a
The big
part,
question of where does the money come back to?
Yeah, as far as I know, it comes back to you guys because you've been maintaining it and everything this whole time. I'll double check that, but I don't know why it would be anything
So we need
different.
clarification on that. I also want to know what is the absolute commitment and compensation to the broker should we not go forward? Should we pull the rug out after we've said go forward?
Sure, there's a cancellation clause in
Yeah,
there.
but I need to know what this, other than that, I think I saw their commission was 5%.
5%. And then you asked also about like, I think you can set a minimum that it has to be like a minimum of X before you'll do it. I mean, usually that's something, I don't know if that's in there either, so I can check on that. I haven't seen the contract. I just knew it was 5%. That was,
And do we have anyone else that we can get a competing?
we reached out to a few brokers and no.
Push people
And
bid on
the
that.
thing is.
It's
we
such a
could-
weird
we
piece
could
of
list this And
property.
it will never sell,
Right.
Right.
you know?
Yeah, but I'm with
What-
Marty on that one, I don't think you have an electronic sign, but just having the signs up there, land for sale is tacky. But
I mean, well, this is, if you go back, I know everybody says, well, our entrance is 3/4 of a mile down, but this is the entrance to the Pelican Preserve Development Area, which include, and it's all part of that under the city's development, whatever, I forget what they call it. Gateways is under the county's development order, but there is a development order, and this parcel is in it. It's owned by the CDD, but it's within the Pelican Development Authority. I mean, I hate to say it, but, if we, I won't.
So if we have
But-
questions,
Okay,
let's
so
just,
the three questions I have is where does the money go? If we cancel, after we say yes, is there a penalty for that? And then can we set a minimum value or what happens if we say no without a penalty? Or is there a penalty if we, don't? I understand what I meant, but that gets the gist of what you covered. I'll be more specific when I lay it out, but.
And can the Board of Supervisors take action on this without a recommendation from us?
Yes.
Technically, yes, because it's a
Yes.
district property. But we aren't meeting next week. Our 18th meeting got canceled, so we aren't meeting until the 2nd of October, which is still before your next meeting, so.
Okay, so now the other item up there, which Marty and I were talking
That
about.
one's put to bed.
Right.
Okay.
So the other item, just to make you aware, is the objective is the intersection, the crossover from Winn-Dixie to Walgreens and Walgreens to Winn-Dixie. The prospect of putting the light there is probably not going to happen. First of all, it's way too close to the intersection of Colonial. So the other option that they're looking at, is you won't be able to go across.
Whole thing?
You won't be able to go from Winn-Dixie across to Walgreens. You'll have to go out at the 7-Eleven and go up and come back in over there at the Walgreens. Come through the light at Colonial, and there's an entrance into that Walgreens off of Colonial. That's one way. That's how you get from Winn-Dixie to Colonial, to Walgreens. You can't get to Winn-Dixie from Walgreens. You'll only be able to make a right turn coming out of Walgreens. So this is where I go, and you're talking safety, and then what? So you make a right coming out, you go up to the light, and you either make a U-turn at that extremely busy intersection. Oh no, you can make a right and cross over 4 lanes in 250 feet and make a U-turn there with all the traffic coming down, and then you come to the light, and it's just.
So no decision has been made, but those are the
They are
options.
sending a recommendation to the board to support I'll say, it's not FDOT, it's somebody else, to continue with their study and planning. And I'm concerned that when you tell a governmental group to continue with your study and planning, you're telling them to go forward with the project. So that's.
And they've already determined that corner needs remediation.
They
Who's
recognize.
Who's
Pardon
they?
me?
Who's they in this story?
The government there's really one person driving all of this. Gary Edson. Yeah, he's driving this.
All right,
He-
this is the
he was-
government group, yeah, government
Yes,
advisory group. All right.
Yeah, he's a resident and he was in an accident. He was in a pretty bad accident. So he wants to change the intersection. And I look at the intersection and go, it's driver error. I'm not blaming him. I don't think in his case it was. I think the other guy was at fault in his accident. But I'm thinking of the residents of Pelican Preserve, that you're going to inconvenience them. And I'm not clear that you're not going to give them a bigger safety issue. So I don't know whether that's something we would ever want to take a position on, to say Gateway, to recommend to the Board of Supervisors that it oppose that project, because it is their commercial operations on both sides of that intersection. So just to make you aware, right?
But this, I don't understand, does the Gateway District own that intersection in some fashion?
County owns
Is
the
that still
intersection.
with,
It's a
County owns the
county road.
intersection, but it's Gateway Commercial, that Gateway owns the land that the commercial ventures sit on. And Gateway owns, Gateway, we are a part of Gateway and we will be impacted by that. The rest of Gateway
It's-
won't really be.
It's part of the
C5.
CDD
Didn't you guys?
area.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they own the parcel at the corner. That's the extent.
Just put it out there. I'm a little concerned that this is the kind of thing that one person could move all the way through and nobody speaks about it until the end. I mean, the motion that's out there now is, it says to support them going forward. And I'd rather cut it off. I'd rather kill it right now, but that's me. I voted against it in the government relations, but I am.
I'll tell you, I've had a personal experience where I took a right-hand turn from Colonial onto Tree Line. I'm heading south on Tree Line, and somebody came out of the Winn-Dixie parking lot and did not turn on the correct side of the berm
Mhm.
and was coming at me head on.
Oh, oof.
No, it's all driver error. And you can't fix stupidity.
Well, and we could also look at whether or not we want to extend the sidewalk from C5 all the way down to Winn-Dixie too.
The two things. One, it's a good thing we transferred the streetlights on Tree Line to the county, because since we did that, 2 of them have been hit by cars and knocked over. So we haven't had to replace them. The other thing, Bob did mention that he was talking to Tony to see if there was a way to extend the multipurpose lane from C5 up to Winn-Dixie. It's currently in the development order that when that C4 parcel is developed, they would have to put that in. But that would give golf cart access, crossing at Pelican and up. If there's a way that we could go ahead and do that and then get reimbursed by the developer at the time that it actually gets developed, but
It just doesn't resolve it for cars.
No, it doesn't.
doesn't,
You know,
no,
we're gonna-
but it does give
So is there action
maybe,
you want us to take?
No, I don't,
Peggy,
unless
this is Marty.
it's,
I'd like to make a motion to table item 8 Bravo until our next meeting.
I guess no formal motion.
Oh, do we need a formal motion for that? Okay, so
You already did.
Marty did it, Peggy seconded, it was all unanimous to table.
I figured that was your consensus after you
Yeah.
were talking, so I already asked Georgia to put it on the next
Okay,
agenda.
so, well, now we
All right.
backed up on that, thank you, Marty.
And mine was only for the point of discussion to
Okay.
know that that's happening up there.
I'm starting to learn. I'm starting
Yeah,
to learn.
Yeah. Okay, so we're done with C, or we're done with B.
B, yep.
So C is the volunteers needed to design the entryway.
This was something I was asked to put on at the last meeting, so
So,
So Carol Carol Pankow had brought this up, I believe, at a recent meeting, that she would like us to explore some kind of redesign or updating of our entryway, as it is 22 years old. And I believe there is money set aside for this.
No.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but that
not to
she
my
thought-
knowledge, no.
I thought
So-
there was $250,000 somewhere. Okay.
no, we had talked about it, but I don't think you.
Yeah, we didn't make any formal recommendation. Carol is here, so
Oh.
she's going to speak to it,
Oh.
so.
Great.
Thank you. Yes, I came to your committee a couple months ago, and basically, a couple times pulling in, it just seems like our entry just needs to be zazzed up a little bit or something. Something needs to be done. It just looks a little bit tired. It looks normal. It looks average, and I just think it needs a facelift of some sort. But I am not a person that can design anything. So I was suggesting that maybe we reach out to our Pelican Preserve community, and maybe there is talent in that community that could help put together some designs or help put together some ideas that could be brought back to this committee or whatever committee you wanted to basically look at next year, maybe putting some money in the budget for redoing the front, or maybe you could spend $2.5 million. If you sold the other property on the front and make it really snazzy. But anyway, that was my suggestion. I just think that over time now, it's been more than 20 years. It just needs,
Things get
it
tired.
needs something.
Yeah,
So that was the reason why it's on for discussion.
thank you, Carol, thanks for that background.
I've thought about this, I guess, quite a bit. But I agree we need to do something. When you look at Tree Line, ours is probably the weakest entrance of all the ones up and down Tree Lines. And there's nothing when you come from the south of the entrance.
I don't necessarily agree with that.
I don't think it's appropriate to hand it off to one of the subcommittees. each of the subcommittees has some piece of it. You've got safety and security with the gatehouse. You've got landscaping that does the landscaping. You got ponds. Doug takes care of the fountains and the monument, so, but I think each one of those subcommittee, to me, maybe we create a work group. Each of those subcommittees has a representative, but then we also solicit to the community for volunteers to work on this work group along with them or something. And then, but maybe to come up with some concepts, but I think it's significant enough that we would actually have to work with an architect or somebody, landscape architect or something.
Yeah.
I have asked them to see if they can find the drawings, construction drawings for the existing monument. The simplest thing would be to maybe to duplicate the existing monument on the north side so that they at least match. So if we had those drawings, that might help. But I think, to start the process, but it's got to be a lot more thought out and a lot more input than was put into changing the colors and stuff like that of
You have
of
to
the
first
monuments
decide,
and
is it
stuff.
really needed?
Yeah. But we reach out to the community to get some other volunteers, but then have our subcommittees maybe have a representative on that work group, but coordinated out of us.
I could see a work group providing specs, like we want it to be this, this, this. I do not want our community to draw the design.
Right.
I think that this is such a visible thing that we would want to have a professional do it.
I have a little bit of a problem with, and maybe I shouldn't have, but I understand that front area is owned by Gateway but
No, it's the community association.
Community association. Well, we need the PPCA to be heavily involved in this as far as I'm concerned. Right now, we're talking about PPAC and the Ponds Committee. Now, I think the PPCA has to have some involvement in this thing.
Absolutely.
Right. No, PPCA owns the property. Gateway owns the monuments,
Yeah.
the existing monuments, and there's an easement that covers the existing
And the
monuments.
gatehouse, that's what Gateway owns, the gatehouse and the monuments.
Right,
And all of the land is owned by PPCA.
other than the road.
But home values and home sales and everything else are the PPCA, somewhat of the PPCA responsibility.
Yeah.
And regardless what you do out there, whether it's the monuments or the gatehouse or anything else, it all affects everybody within Pelican Preserve. So that's why I'm saying that I think that PPCA ought to be heavily involved in this.
I would agree 100% with you.
They're not going to commit any money at this point.
Well, maybe not, but they can maybe,
But I agree with also what Peggy
yeah.
said, this is, putting things like this out for volunteers is just, it leads to hurt feelings. I'll just go that way.
I would recommend that we ask staff to go out to bid to a landscape engineer, maybe some people who put the broccoli sign up there.
Stop it.
The broccoli sign.
The broccoli, I told you to
The
stop the
broccoli
broccoli.
sign.
Oh, my gosh.
It drives me crazy with their broccoli.
So maybe we should go out to a
I'll
landscape
call it broccoli
engineer.
too, it's fine. Yeah.
Maybe we should go out to a landscape engineer and get some ideas on how to change it and how much it would cost before we
architect,
ask for
like an-
volunteers.
a landscape
And then
architect.
once we
More of an
Once we
architect.
have
Yeah.
certain choices in front of us, then we can put it out to the community and say, hey, here's 3, which ones do you like?
The bigger question to me is, and I'm not challenging, but is it needed? Yeah, it might have been to put up 25 years ago, but I don't know.
Needs versus wants for the PPCA right now, as they said, so.
Well, I just, combination of things. All right, kids, you can put some more flowers out there and you can make it a little more pretty with flowers and stuff. You're not going to do significant redesigns of the streets.
You can ask Doug to put in bigger pumps.
but it doesn't hurt to get some ideas.
I
That's
guess.
costing us nothing to get some ideas.
Well, now we're talking about getting a landscape architect to take a
And,
look
well,
at.
I wouldn't agree with that. And I think we're too far ahead of ourselves here. This is going to take some organization to figure out who needs to be involved in this and how we need to get this thing done versus just
Yeah,
gun
very
decking it like we seem to be.
All right, so what do we want to do with this item?
Well, I would like to also second the motion that Carol was kind of making.
There's no motion.
There is no
Oh, I
motion. What
know, I
motion?
meant second the idea, excuse me, that because the PPCA owns the land, that I think we should somehow work to really make sure that there is a coordination of effort. And it would be a really nice thing if we had some project that was really a joint project between PPCA and the PPAC group. You know, I just think it would build bridges. I think it's nice to have people's input. You know, the PPCA agrees to have a lot of advisory committees that work with them to advise them. It's one thing to go ahead and make a design and provide people with an opportunity to vote on it. It's another thing to get, you know, people to feel ownership of it through a committee. So those are two ways to approach it.
Maybe Peggy, to have somebody from the group sit down with somebody from PPCA and try to,
Well, I was thinking the strategic group, the strategy group that,
The new one or the strategic, the new one's a management advisory committee, which hasn't been appointed yet. The other one's a strategic planning committee.
strategic planning.
Right.
So if we could have someone kind of broach the topic with them.
I'll be glad to talk to them. I know it, at least for the next 2 years, there's no money.
Oh, yeah.
So just be real clear on that. And I do not see them ever prioritizing that over the things that need to be done in the town center.
Well,
I think it would have to be PPAC money. It would have to be money from us.
there has been money penciled into the future capital PPAC budget for, you know, like $500,000 or so to do something at the front entrance.
Okay, that's what I was thinking of. Yeah.
Yeah.
From the
Yeah,
PPCA
if PPAC's
side.
I'm only making a point. I don't think you're going to get money out of PPC.
No, I agree.
Yeah, okay.
Well, that's our budget that it's been penciled into.
But you need to, because it is PPCA's property and entrance, you definitely need to work with them to get their support for anything you're going to do.
Right.
Well, let's lay the groundwork with you
I'll
talking to
talk
the strategic planning
Forget
group.
who's chairman.
put that on next month's
Follow up?
Yeah.
follow-up.
Okay.
Part of the other, I guess, thinking too is, you know, if we are to sell the properties up at the corner and all of those monuments and all of that Pelican goes away, you know, then, you know, we definitely need to do something to make the entrance a little more elaborate, and especially coming from the south, because there's no visibility of the Pelican entrance really from the south.
Right.
The other thing is a lot of the infrastructure at that front entrance, it's not just the monument, but the landscape lighting, all the wiring, all of that stuff is pretty much shot, and they're continuing, you know, how do you,
Yeah.
you need to upgrade that, even if you don't do a lot of stuff with the monuments, there's work continue to be spent putting Band-Aids on a lot of that stuff.
You mean having Christmas tree lights that light?
Yeah. So, I mean, there's a lot of, and it's a long process, but if we don't at least start the process at some point in some form or fashion.
Well, I'll talk to, I've got to remember who's chairman of strategic planning, talk to them. I don't think it's Cooper.
Okay, so we're asking this to then get
Go to
some,
October and have Tom follow up.
Yep.
I asked Georgia to move it. I'll tweak the wording.
got it, okay. So, we have access control amendment, alternate vehicle and wage percentage increase. And
Yeah, this, Weiser came to us and I guess the person who put their bid together for ours isn't with them any longer, but basically with the mandated minimum wage requirements, they need an increase in theirs to meet the minimum wage increase. And then the quote, I guess, was with a golf cart, and they're continuing to use the car. So there's just a minor adjustment that's needed to increase to their.
What happened with the vehicle is that the quote that came back was for the golf cart. Safety and security said, no, there's more of a presence with the vehicle. They voted to have, and they didn't vote. They said the vehicle is fine. We never formally changed the contract when we sent it over. So the contract says it's for a golf cart. We've been using and paying for the vehicle the whole time. So we just need to ratify that decision. So, but the wage is new.
But their budget will cover this increase.
Yes.
With no change in budget needed.
Well, I supported one on law, but two, I look and go, no wonder you got crappy people at the front gate.
They don't get paid much.
$15 an hour waiters get more than that. Plus tips.
Yeah.
We could start tipping them. Yeah.
Don't even say that.
All they have to do is wave people in.
Yeah, I know. And stay awake.
This is Marty. I make a motion to approve item 8 Delta.
I'll second that. This is Peggy. Any more discussion on it? All the vote? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Patricia, did you weigh in?
Yes, I vote yes.
Okay, thank you. Well, that is the end of our agenda right now. So let's go through and we'll start with member reports and items. Marty, if you want to kick us off.
I have nothing to bring forward.
You're afraid I'll assign something to you, huh? Oh, yeah.
I'll just tell you, I thought it would be on safety. Rich Glover has been monitoring traffic with those signs.
Mm-hmm.
And he is trying to do a quantitative analysis of what he has found. I had to give him some input this morning because he came back with something less than 2% of the cars are speeding. And I said, no way, Rich. You go tell the community that less than 2% of the people are speeding. You just told them to speed. So how did you calculate your number? Well, he took the gross hits on the light and that went over 35 miles an hour. So first of all, if you take the gross hits, that includes motorcycles and bicycles, not motorcycles, golf carts and bicycles. So I said, go back, take an arbitrary number, 24 miles an hour, 25 miles an hour, and eliminate all of that. Find out, get all of that out of there. And also, if they're going over 30, they're speeding. So give them that number. Don't try to squeeze this down to and say we're all safe and sound here. If you ever work with Rich, it's very difficult for him to process new information after he's spewed out something. So I just personally, I don't believe that only 2% of the people in this community are speeding.
Yeah, but what do you base that on?
Observations.
Just your observation?
I stood there yesterday, Patricia, at the sign right there on Pelican Preserve Boulevard. I stood there for 20 minutes. And I wrote them down. I'm going to say I had 74 cars. 10 of them were exceeding 35 miles an hour.
And that was because you were looking at this, at the monitor, right?
Yeah. And now one of the things I would say, and that he can use if he says it right, is that the monitors are helping to reduce speeding. And he should take that position because, yeah, I admit that, hey, I might be coming through there and not realize I'm doing 35 or rare I would ever get to 40, but I might be doing 35 when I come in the gate. Now see that monitor flash at me and I slow down. Mm-hmm. So the monitors, I'd take that position from the safety committee that these are helping reduce speeds.
I'm a former state trooper. We used to sit alongside the road to slow people down. They get a mile down the road and they speed up again.
Oh, yeah, I know that.
So it's
And you used to also like give people 5 to 6 miles over the speed limit.
usually 10.
10?
Here they slow down and they're upset and then they run the stop sign when they get there because they want to catch up on their time.
Well, and Rich has proposed to get a couple more of those monitors so we can
Good.
put them
Yeah,
other
he's,
places as well.
Rich is gung ho.
Yeah.
He gets into the weeds with this stuff. But you just be careful what the messages are you send out. If you're trying to accomplish something, put it that way. So I would take the message that the monitors are helping definitely to reduce speed in the community.
It doesn't help cars stopping in the community.
No, doesn't do that, nor does it do anything with bicyclists who never stop.
And we know there's an uptick in
Or golf
season
carts
too,
that
so,
never stop.
yeah.
Okay, so I have been working with Rich to come up with a bulletin, and I believe Laura has a copy of it there to share with you all. I don't know, Laura, can you share it?
Well, I didn't know you had that. I just know what he was writing is, I gave him some input. I'm trying to be careful with Rich.
So based on, the study, Laura, did you have a chance to?
Yeah, hang on.
Pardon me?
You just keep talking, I'll get it.
Okay, so, I thought, listen, there is a message here. Not everybody is a speeder. Obviously people are going over the speed limit. So the point was to say we are monitoring it. The point is to say we have a study that has been completed and it's showing this, but we're surprised that it doesn't show more people as speeders. But however, whenever a driver exceeds the speed limit, pedestrians and cyclists are at risk. So everyone slow down. In fact, drivers should be aware that the police will be monitoring and giving out speeding tickets. I don't think we should hide the fact that there is a report that actually shows only 2% are speeders. The other big issue is nobody
Patricia,
stops.
wait a minute, Patricia, that's not an accurate number.
The way that you came up with your number is the correct way to calculate it.
Huh?
You have to remove the non-vehicles from it.
Yeah, I just expressed that concern. This is based on, I think, 28,000 hits, if I'm not mistaken. But that includes golf carts and bicycles. You need to remove those when you are announcing the percentage of cars that are
Okay.
speeding. That's all I was getting at.
Okay, we'll go back
I'm
and
not
look
even
at.
sure you should be that specific. Of,
Say vehicles.
Right.
I would say vehicles, not
Well,
cars.
yeah.
whatever.
Well,
mean,
now
how
you're down
many-
to
how many-
28,000.
I'm sorry, how many golf
I just was
carts?
trying to deal with people who actually have the opportunity to speed. We have golf carts that speed by more than 30 miles an hour.
I don't, I mean, my golf cart can only go
Carol?
like 15 miles an hour. I don't know many that can speed, but, you're right. Let's take out those numbers, but it's still, I think, an important message that, maybe an important message also is our monitors are helping to remind people.
Yes.
Yes.
Right.
But rolling through stop signs is a problem. Anyway, I would like to try to put something out as, the reality is not everybody speeds. So what the reality is, I think we should be accurate. So I agree, Tom, that we should take out things that aren't cars. Can he do that?
Yeah, he said he could.
Okay.
So he told me that he did. He plays with numbers different than I do. So there's an issue there. And fine, I'm not going to get in the middle of how he does things, but the way I would have done the numbers would have come out a little bit different. But fine, he came out with more of a 4% when you take out and it's 4% going over 10 miles an hour. So that's
Yes.
4% of them doing
So what-
40
what
miles
did
an
that
hour.
30, what?
Right.
would
If
the
you
number-
dropped it if you took 30, what's the percentage whenever, and I don't think you should go to 30 and maybe 35 because that's really speeding. But as you just said, Patricia, I think the main message here is that these things are helping people recognize to reduce their speed. And we need to constantly remind people in the community to reduce their speed. I think Rich is planning to do what I'm going to say. We also need to make sure that we monitor the speed when the snowbirds get back.
Yep.
Because that's when we all
We noticed.
tend to say, I got passed by a license plate that wasn't a Florida license plate. But
Okay, we'll go back to
tweak
the
that a little
drawing
bit, I'd
board.
feel more, but yeah, call Rich, I'd use it was like a
Yeah.
3.8, so even this 2% was rounded up.
Yeah.
But I don't
yeah,
want
let's
people to
go.
get I'm just concerned that we give a message that there's not a speeding issue here when the perception certainly is that there is one.
I read it that
But-
way too.
But
As far
I
as I'm
think it's
concerned with reading it,
important
we
to
don't have a
show
problem.
Right, that's what I'm concerned about.
everybody who speeds, the perception is not everybody is speeding, and I think that's also a positive message. So, yeah, it's the bad guys, but they're not 50% bad guys out there.
No. And as I said, I raised my hand and say, yeah, I come in that gate and sometimes I'm doing over 35 just because it came off the highway. And that sign slows me down.
Okay, good. I think that's an excellent point, and particularly if we're going to be putting in more monitors, has that been approved?
I think he's got, Rich said he has it in his budget and he didn't,
Well, he has to get a quote for the next.
but he has the money in the budget to go
Yeah,
ahead
the
and go
money's,
forward
the
with
money's
it.
in the budget.
Yeah.
It's just
Okay,
getting a quote to approve it.
awesome. Okay, good conversation. Thank you.
So Patricia, I've been hearing really, really good feedback on your communications. People are liking them and very much appreciate the additional background. So good job.
Thank you.
Still here, what's Gateway?
Yeah, you can still hear what's going on, but hey, okay. All right. Alan, do you have anything that you?
Yeah, it's not a major deal, but it deals with the security or the gate area. We had a failure of a 75-inch TV that we went ahead and put out on a Friday. For the people that come around and pick that stuff up on Fridays, the bigger stuff. My wife was out there and two gentlemen drove up in a car and wanted to know if the TV worked or not. And she said, well, we're having some issues with it, so we got a new one. And you could tell that these folks were not residents of Pelican Preserve and older car, what have you. And so they went ahead and opened their trunk. They couldn't get it in their trunk. So they went ahead and laid it on top of the car and roped it down. And
Now,
to shorten this up a little bit, then I was told, and I don't know if the person told me this or not, is correct, that these folks come in every Friday to drive our streets, to find out if there's stuff out there they can pick up. Now, I understand we can't stop anybody from coming in, but I'm not sure if that's what we want to happen in there on Fridays, people coming in and driving the streets and
What you can do
picking
about
that
that,
stuff
Alan?
up. Well, that's it. I'm simply bringing it up as an issue, what's happening. And,
On one hand, I'm glad they come and take my thing away.
well, yeah, except that goes away anyway, because
Yeah.
the truck comes around, picks it
Yeah.
up
then
and
that goes
goes.
in the trash versus
Right, if somebody can
Yeah.
use it, on the other,
On
I
the other
agree with
hand, the next day, that same person came back and hit up my neighbor lady and said, are you the ones that had the TV out there? Because the power cord wasn't with it.
Okay, I
And
guess
so she's looking for but I'm not, it's concerning, it was concerning to the neighbors, it was concerning to my wife, that here are these people, are they gonna be knocking on our door at midnight looking for the power cord, so.
Your fault for not putting the power cord out.
Yeah, that's what I would say.
Well, that's
too.
true, that's true,
Yeah.
that's true, yeah. No,
Okay.
we're thinking about looking them up and getting it to them,
All right,
Yeah.
so nothing we can really do about it. It's good to know. So.
No, I totally understand that, I'm just saying that if it's
aware.
happening in here, it's gonna concern some residents too.
Okay.
I know a lot of, even the landscape people and the pool people and everybody else, if they see something they want, they pick, they go around and pick it up and.
It's on the curb, it's public property.
That's
So-
kind of it, yeah.
Yeah.
This was definitely not well,
Not a- Okay.
yeah.
Did you have anything, Ed?
Laura, on that, could we get an update maybe on Florida Power and Light and streetlights at the next
Sure.
meeting or something, see if we've heard any more about a schedule or something, because as people start coming back, I'm sure that'll start being a question.
As far as I know, it's still gonna be, I thought said they were hoping to be done by after the first of the year, but I will make sure that gets on.
Because if I remember right, it was until they got their check, it was, they couldn't put
Yeah.
it into their normal planning process and stuff, so.
Yep.
My only thing is I'm out of the GIS ticketing business as of the 1st of October. We are switching over to the Cartograph C-Click Fix version, and now anything else is on Ed. So that works. I'm happy with that.
I have one thing. I don't know if any of you noticed, all of our gateway emails have been getting hit up pretty hard by scam, phishing
Yeah.
emails, whatever. So I've just asked everybody who's attending any of the committee meetings, just say, hey, yes, we know, we're all getting them. So just please be aware, just delete them. We're working with our IT people to tweak the filters to hopefully get them out. They're coming through and not even flagging as suspicious, which is kind of weird, because a lot of times I get this ugly pink banner and then I just say, no, this is bad. So every time we get one, we're sending it to them saying, hey, this got through, and they're taking care of it. So
I've just been deleting.
thank
them,
you
yeah.
for letting us know. So some of the people have said, hey, I have this, what do I do? And I'm like, just delete it. It's fine. We're
Yes.
aware. Anybody with a gateway address is getting them, so.
You mean I shouldn't have made that investment?
Nope, that's on you. And then the other thing I wanted to bring up was the cameras, which and I don't know how much you know about, there's multiple reasons why the cameras are being replaced at the gatehouse. First is because there are some blind spots, so we've had multiple requests from the guards there to make sure that gets some better coverage. The cameras are so much nicer than the ones that are in there now. There is a literal rat's nest of stuff underneath with the wires underneath the camera. They're not even gonna use any of the wires that are there. They're putting all new cameras with all new cabling, so everything will be brand new. And it'll tie into our system, so we won't have access to the RV because it's not ours, that's PPCA, but the gatehouse cameras, they will have them there, and we will have them here. They will also become part of our system. And we will now be in compliance with the mandatory minimum 30 days worth of data requirement that we have to have for security purposes.
Somebody coordinated with the community association that they know that.
I let them know,
Okay.
yeah. And I talked to Hands Free too and asked them what they wanted us to do with the cameras because we were told they were proprietary, and they're like, no, they're yours, you can do what you want with them. Okay. So they ordered everything and they're supposed to be there Wednesday to start working on them, so.
All right, anything else before we ask for a call to dismiss?
I will be here for the
Yeah, anyone
October
not gonna
9th
be
meeting.
here?
I will as well.
I will not.
Oh, no, Tom? Okay.
I should be here.
Should be here.
Tricia, what's your October looking like?
No, I won't be back. Sorry. I'll be online.
Make a motion to adjourn.
All right, we have a motion to adjourn. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Alan seconding. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Woo-hoo!
3:36.
3:36, we're done. Thank you all. Thanks, Patricia.
Thank you.
Well, I could totally understand what you're